But we do want to break in and talk about a few other sports here for Mountain Lion Athletics. We're going to transition now into talking about UCCS men's soccer. Spencer, I know you were there for both the games this past weekend as the Mountain Lions hosted number 9 in the nation, Regis University, this past Friday. Fell by 1 goal, 1-0. It was a closely contested game throughout.
It was an incredible game throughout the entire game. It was only 1-0. So we're able to stay close the entire game. I was talking to some of the players afterwards, and we were talking if we had a minute and a half left, we thought we could have scored. That last 5 minutes against Regis, we were just clicking on all cylinders, shot after shot on the goal, making them really nervous. So that was really cool to see. But unfortunately, we fell, but we beat them once before when they were number 5. They were number 9 when we played them. So it's still really good for us to be able to hold them to 1-0 when they're nationally ranked. But unfortunately, we do have to come out with the loss on that one.
Yeah, it was tough. Back and forth action. Your Mountain Lions finished a man down as it was Casey Collins getting a red card in that second half, which, I mean, definitely we don't want to say that's why they lost, but that definitely put us at a bigger disadvantage.
Right. I think even with Casey being gone, they still were clicking. It was. I don't want to say it's as if Casey wasn't in the game because Casey still is an impact player on the field when he is. But even with Casey going out, they still knew that their mindset had to stay the same. They still had to keep going. They still had to make sure that they were, fulfilling the needs that they needed to at that time. I know that the regional rankings come out on Wednesday, so we'll have to see if we're at where they're at, especially after that game and being able to hold them. So we'll have to see where we're headed too.
Yeah. One thing we will never do here on the Lions Den is blame anybody for a loss other than our team.
Yeah.
But I will say that in that game there was a somewhat controversial missed call with a free kick from Court Searles deep. It was right outside of the box, and our team was claiming there was a handball there.
Yeah.
It led to a lot of frustration, which led a few minutes later to KC getting tossed out of the game when things got a little too heated. That's all on us.
Yeah.
But there easily could have been that claim of a missed call.
Yeah, I mean, the emotions were built up already. Regis was coming in; they wanted their revenge on us on our home field.
Absolutely.
So the emotions were already high, whether it was a missed call or not. I think that the way we were playing the game, they were ready to. Everybody was ready to do something, and whether it was a handball or whatever happened. The emotions were just too high in that game, and I think they handled it really well for both teams for how high the stakes were during that. So.
One thing I really appreciated was head coach Johnny Keene meeting up with, I don't recall his name, but after all that went down, very cordial, very professional, and I thought that was really wonderful to see.
Yeah, very professional.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In that game, your Mountain Lions did outshoot the Rangers 17-11. So, I mean, they were definitely in position to win or could have easily gotten a goal in to take it to overtime. But on the losing end of that one, now 2-1 against nationally ranked team, which is not a bad record by any means against nationally ranked teams. But again, it was the Mountain Lions on the losing end of that game, 1-0, but they bounced back yesterday on Sunday against South Dakota Mines in a big win for UCCS. They really need to get that one 2-0, coming out, holding down home field and getting the big W.
Yeah, I mean, they played them the weekend before as well, just like Regis. We played them back-to-back weekends. So they had a little bit under their belt on how they played, who their players were, what they were scouting for. And they did. They just came out firing. I think after, the loss to Regis, they were like, all right, we knew that was going to be tough. We knew that we may have come out with a loss, and they did. But they said, we want to handle our business on Sunday. That's over with. They just kept moving forward, and that's exactly what they did. They handled their business on Sunday and did great with their 2-0 win. JJ was awesome with his shots on goal. Alex did a great job with him as well. So, I mean, they're still clicking really well together. You can't win them all. So if we were going to take a loss, it would be to Regis. And I think the win against South Dakota Mines is awesome for us.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Right now, your Mountain Lions sitting in a firm third place in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference with Regis, who they just lost to, sitting right above them, and then Colorado Mesa yet to lose in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. So So seemingly with 4 games left in the regular season, Mountain Lions are playing for a home game.
Yep.
I mean, if Regis or Mesa falls apart the last couple weekends, they could snag the 1st or 2nd seed. But a more realistic outlook, I think, is to snag that 3rd spot, which right now they hold their own destiny in their hands.
I think so too. I think this Sunday we play Colorado Mesa. I think if that game turns in our favor and we win, all 3 of us are sitting about in the same contention there, and then it's going to be a real fight to the end for those top 4 seeds. And then the win will clinch the tournament berth for our
One more win and we're in.
Yeah.
One win and we're in. You said it. So Colorado Mesa this Sunday, Westminster this Friday. On paper, that Westminster game looks like a one that easily should be a win for us. They're 3-10 overall, 2-8 in the conference. Obviously, Johnny Keane's not going to want to overlook that opponent moving forward and looking at Colorado Mesa. But seemingly here at home, that's at least 1 win, possibly 2. Charlie, what's your take right now on the men's soccer team?
Well, first off, just kind of going back to this weekend, and I got a chance before the volleyball game to watch that Regis game, and the shot that went on David Meyer, it was a high, he had a hand
off
on
his
it,
finger.
Just went off the finger. So, some bad luck there, but still a tough fought game. And like you said, being a man down, we've seen that before spark the Mountain Lions.
Yeah.
And with that MSU Denver game, it really sparked them. And with this one, I feel like it sparked, but they just didn't have enough time to actually get that goal. And like you said, maybe a couple more minutes, but you can't go into the game and expect it or expect, the refs. You never know what referees you're getting. So definitely a tough one there and a really hard-fought physical game. And then South Dakota Mines, another shutout for David Meyer. He is climbing up the records for career shutouts in a season. And that one was just fun to watch. It looked like the team really did take it. I mean, well, for being an athlete, you really need to have a short memory. So after that Regis game, they had to put that one away and not really sulk and sit on it.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a day in between to, really think about that Regis game and think about what they did and how they could have fixed it. And they came out against South Dakota Mines, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And then this weekend, Colorado Mesa, that has always been a tough opponent for the UCCS men's soccer team. It is one of our many rivals, and they always come in. They're very physical, very big, and David Meyer and the defense, Aaron Hafner, Derek Saunier, are going to have a fun time trying to stop some of those attackers because they are, or those strikers, because they are really, really physical, and
they're a big team
I think
too.
it's going to be a good matchup, and yeah, they are very big, so it's definitely be an interesting matchup for this weekend. But like you said, the destiny's in the Mountain Lions' hands. They just have to do something with it. And I think right now they sit great at 3rd, and it'd be nice to clinch a tournament berth and then maybe even clinch home field advantage, because that home field advantage is huge, especially with soccer, because every field is different in a way. Yeah.
I completely agree, Charlie. Absolutely correct. So that's kind of your men's soccer scene right there, in firm position of that 3rd place spot, as you just saw. So again, it is their playoff spot to have or to lose. We're going to see how everything breaks down. We'll have your complete preview for the upcoming games this Thursday for our preview show right here on the Lions Den. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the UCCS men's golf team currently in action in Seaside, California. We're going to get you some updates live from Seaside right after this when we come back from break.
I finally found the healthcare I've been looking for. It's the UCCS Health Circle Primary Care Clinic across from University Village on North Nevada Avenue. The nurse practitioner managed clinic is a perfect fit. I have longer appointments so I don't feel rushed. And we've created a personal health plan that's really working for me. UCCS Health Circle is more than a provider. They're my new healthcare partner.